Now, you may have heard the common consensus amongst everyone how Asian women aren't even willing to date Asian men anymore. Japanese men hiding themselves in their room, locking themselves away from society, unable to approach a girl and ask her out. And how on average Asian men compare worse on attractiveness when compared to a white male. And maybe you've even seen this red pill toxic podcast that have these drunk Miami girls on that say that Asian men aren't attractive enough for them to date. And just to really hit this point home, I will show you a couple of clips right here, right now, of other documentaries, other videos talking about this point.
This dude right here, he's kind of handsome, right? Look at this dude. So for Andy, what's your name, bro? Chris. For Andy to compete with Chris on the dating market, okay? Andy has to make, on all the dating apps in the dating market, okay? Andy has to make $247,000 more per year than this dude right here. Right? $247,000 more per year to be equal to him.
And I will also link a couple of links down below. There's like fucking 8 links, bro, on why Asians aren't as attractive. But it's not to say that there are no attractive Asians, right? I mean, there are like Crazy Rich Asians, Bruce Lee, he's pretty attractive. But maybe it's just not presented in the modern day media as much. In fact, most of that shit, most of the attractive Asian males are portrayed in their own respective countries' production studios, never in Hollywood. And I'm doing this video in place of an old trauma I've had in my old secondary school, where I faced a lot of racism, a lot of disgusting racism. But one of the thoughts that really triggered this old trauma of mine of being called racist insults and slurs was when I was about to leave my secondary school to go to college. I was lining up in the canteen queue and I saw an Asian that was maybe a few years below me in my school, and I saw my old self in him. He was getting the exact same treatment that I was getting when I was a beginner at that school. He was trying to make everyone laugh by playing into the characteristics that the white boys fucking gave him. Of this like funny, this like outlier guy that's like can be really serious, and I'm not exactly sure how to describe it, but he was just playing into the white boys' perception of him just to make them laugh and sort of gain their validation. And I just saw that, and it hit something deep in me that made me even remember it until now. And so really, if you think about it, I'm making this video to outline the problem, to define the problem, and then hopefully save a couple of more Asian lives from going through what I went through. Because I do not like seeing effeminate Asian men. Of course, anyone can be weak, right? Anyone can be weak, feminine, effeminate. That's not my choice to make. That's their choice. But if your current situations demand it, for example, if your mum's working super hard, you have a single mother like I do that's working super hard, walking out to work in the fucking freezing cold in the early mornings where it's pitch black, and you're sitting back and you're being this feminine TikTok scrolling soy boy, that's disrespecting your family, in my humble opinion, right? You don't have to take it. For you to remain feminine, once again, it's okay to be feminine, right? I've been feminine before, I've been weak before. But for you to not change when your surroundings demand you to change into a stronger male, a stronger provider, breadwinner, then what are you really doing with your life? Without further ado, let's get into the whys. The first why is the slow indoctrination of healthy foods. Now, this is more specific to the Asians in their own respective countries, right? So mine's Malaysia, right? Into Malaysia, China to China, Korea to Korea. I've noticed a trend with these Asian countries, these hotter countries, right? And it's that there are these strong propagations of what is healthy by these health professionals online on their adverts. Oh, the doctor says that cholesterol is bad. This lowers your cholesterol. Look, eggs that are lower in cholesterol. Go and buy that. Oh, margarine, it lasts longer. It's lower in cholesterol. You're gonna have a lower chance of having a heart attack. And this goes for a lot of things, right? So fucking eggs, seed oils, the bread, the margarine. But there is another thing. And that is these meal replacement drinks that have been going around, especially around Malaysia. and these hotter countries. And it's essentially these drinks where you scoop like two scoops of powder into like a cup, you mix it up, and then you drink that as meal replacement. This is for like fucking children or elderly people. And just taking a look at the best fucking meal replacement thing, I think it's called Nutri-Sure, at least in Malaysia. And just taking a look at that shit, it is fucking garbage. Sure, it provides you all of the nutrients that you like statistically need, right? But you know what is added in there extra? Maltodextrin, which is this like fucking chemically processed tapioca starch, potato starch that has gone through like 1,000 fucking chemicals, right? And in some cases where it's like not the proper main brand, right? Like a fucking off-branded thing, there is literally like fucking artificial coloring and flavoring and fucking sweeteners and sugar, and that is propagated through adverts on television, sold to your grandma, to your home in these Asian countries. And the adverts scream that they help these joints, they help the joints, they help your heart, they make you more re-energized as an old person. My grandma's still the fucking same. None of those effects have taken place. Her joints haven't gone any better, it doesn't heal any faster. She doesn't look like she has more energy. The second thing is a high carb lifestyle. Throughout my visit back to Malaysia the last summer holiday, I've noticed that it is significantly higher in carbs and shitty seed oils than I fucking thought. A lot of what we consume in these hotter countries, Asian countries, are high as fuck in carbs. And it is commonly known in the fitness industry that carbs is like the #1 bulking food, right? But if you take carbs, the #1 bulking food, and you don't have any exercise, any rigorous, intense muscle building, heavy weight lifting regime on top of those carbs, guess what? You will become chubby, you will become fat, you will gain mass, but it won't be pure muscle mass. Another why is genetic myopia. Now, I just want to make a disclaimer. Not everyone with glasses is clapped, right? Not everyone with glasses is super unattractive and gets no woman. I'm testimony to that. I'm just going to put that in there real quick. But generally speaking, myopia, which causes nearsightedness and in turn makes you need to wear glasses, right? Statistically, it's been proven that people that wear glasses apparently look less intelligent, which is like completely against the stereotype, but just look this up, right? And apparently you look less attractive. But of course, not everyone, right? It doesn't apply to everyone. Some people still are able to rock glasses. And I think another reason why Asians aren't necessarily attractive is maybe they are innately attractive, but they've never been taught how to be attractive. Maybe they have some innate look that if they were to change up their hairstyles a little bit, go and learn some charismatic skills, some relationship skills, they would be so much more attractive. But I think a lot of traditional Chinese families, Asian families, they all purport the academics. They all are strong advocates of you getting the qualifications, you going to the top and fucking doing your software engineer degree or your doctor's degree and like fucking sitting down in the basement, grinding away, and then you can find your wife with the fucking 10 credit cards that you have. So another reason is that maybe it's just the case that we aren't really taught how to be attractive. We aren't taught how to express our attractiveness. The haircuts, the gym, there's no strong incentive to go to the gym, right? There's just a strong incentive to do well in academics. And there's probably also no real examples, good examples for the young Asian men to look at, to have good charisma and to have good relationship skills, because the father's probably out working all of the time and the mum's like out working as well maybe, or just like at home being a housewife. But there's no like real good examples from the parents or any role models online. So maybe, just maybe, I can be one of the role models. That's a goal of mine, I guess. It's not to toot my own horn, but I just don't think there are any solid role models for Asians. I've had a look, right? Trust me, I've had a look, and some of them are like, they address the problems that I'm talking about in this video, right? But they never really go down and push you to go and change. They never give you the plan in how to change it. There aren't really any strong and ambitious men capable of leading that are good role models for Asian, and especially young Asian men. So that is what I aim to do in my next video. No bullshit looks maxing guide for Asian men. So another reason why I think Asians are unattractive is probably because of the soy consumption. I used to be such a big consumption of soy. Like, I used to eat edamame, soy sauce. I even had this drink that I used to like drinking that was literally like fucking soy. It was literally just soy milk and it was loaded with sugar, bro. One sip, it would leave my, like, you know how you eat something really, really sugary and then it leaves like this weird effect on your tongue later on to crave more or some shit. Bro, one sip would give me that type of feeling on my tongue. So you could imagine how that decreased my attractiveness, at least physically. And so literally anything from tofu, edamame, soy sauce, soy milk, anything to do with soy, it will lower your testosterone. Like, it'll literally keep your baby's face, right? Because testosterone contributes to a protruding fucking skull, a giga chad jawline, I don't know, ambition, work drive. Testosterone gives you more ambitions to work on your goals. And then when you work on your goals, you become a high value man, at least in today's standards of like making money and whatever. And the more testosterone you have, the better muscle mass and the more aesthetic you look probably. So this is a big key in attractiveness. Now, the why Asians are unattractive in more foreign countries. So for example, an Asian that's moved over to England or an Asian that's moved over to America. One thing that's probably decreasing the attractiveness level is your mum going to these Asian supermarkets that source all of the Asian food throughout the world into this like one store, right? These Asian supermarkets that open up in England, open up in America. And these foods, right, they're all reminding you of home and they're all from your own original country. And then you go to them, you buy these Asian materials, Asian ingredients to cook Asian meals. But I remember this specific time where I accompanied my mum to this Asian supermarket and she was picking up these dumplings, right? And she put them in the car, and with my obviously like super healthy mind, super optimal fucking biohacking mind, I looked at the ingredients. And from what I found, horrified me. There was artificial flavoring, artificial coloring, and most disgustingly, there was a sign, there was a literal label saying that this product might actually impair your child's mind. There was literally a label saying this product, these dumplings, will impair your child's mind and cognitive function. And so just take that and think about it for a moment. If we are consistently eating this because our mums or our fathers that are Asian go to the supermarket and buy this shit and then we just willingly eat along without questioning any of that, this will lead us down a very, very bad path. Cognitively, the label. Physically, because your body will literally be shit. You'll be a shitter performer and you'll probably get like 10 times brain fog from just eating that bullshit. And not to mention, most of the things in the Asian supermarket is products, like conventional products anyways, that are there to be sold to the conventional average Asian person. They're conventional, so basically like fucking Asian version of Coca-Cola or some shit. It's basically like 80% of the supermarket is just conventional mainstream things like a Asian version of Walker's Crisps is probably like shrimp crackers or some shit. Now the second why in foreign countries is we can't live the white kid lifestyle. Now this is from my own experience, right? But I think genetically, a lot of us cannot live the white kid lifestyle of literally bringing a Pepsi or a Dr. Pepper into school every day. Just having a literal fucking bottle of Pepsi or whatever, and then like a chocolate bar, some Walker's Crisps, and just doing that like most days. And the white kid still looks completely fine, skinny, lean. Whereas us, if we eat a chocolate bar to drink a bottle of fizzy water, Fanta, Dr. Pepper, if we do that, genetically it may inflame our faces, at least for me, right? It builds up inflammation and fat on my face. It literally makes every single piece of my muscles, like the muscle tone, disappear. Just like that. And it makes me feel bloated and disgusting. And this doesn't apply to every Asian, but it's good to know that genetics play an insane role in how the food affects you. And last but not least is your self-confidence, your ability to convey relaxation, your body language, your freedom of expression, whether it's through words, thoughts, or your body. And it is my belief that the #1 reason why I've experienced racism is, one, because the kids were immature back then, like they're super young kids and they're immature and they're just going with the crowd, right? And #2, most importantly, I wasn't confident. I didn't stick up for myself. I wasn't still. I wasn't this stoic, and I didn't feel comfortable in my own skin. I didn't fit in it. And I believe that that was a weak point that a lot of people exploited and in turn gave me racist comments on. Now, the last category to cover is the perceptions. Now, this is like Hollywood's depictions of Asians. All the way from this film called Yellow Peril, where it's literally a white man playing the role of a Asian man, which is like a dirty Asian man, right? That's what they thought back then. Asian men were like impure and they were dirty. But generally, Hollywood depicts Asians as unable to be sexy, fighters, or a comedian. That's what Hollywood thinks of Asian males. And when Hollywood thinks something and portrays that through every single one of their movies, all of their medias, a lot of the population, the mass population, will probably think that as well. Because most people watch movies, right? And when they watch movies, they take shit from it. And that could be one of the things that they take away from it. Now, as I was editing this, I just had a thought. Hollywood, if this video like blows up or some shit and like majestically ends up on an article or whatever, and screams that yellowface is a bad idea and Hollywood should change, I don't want Hollywood to do what they're doing with like black people right now, or just like the modern day thing. You know how they fucking made My Little Mermaid a black woman? Sure, it's good for black people or whatever, but what about the little ginger girls that looked up to the Little Mermaid? And also another example is like James Bond, right? James Bond and fucking Indiana Jones. The latest James Bond movie and the latest Indiana Jones movie, where they're literally both guided by this like fucking gender neutral woman in their movies because they're getting weaker or some shit. Like Indiana Jones guided around by this like feminist movement woman, and James Bond is being replaced by this, I don't know, like mutually gender 007, this new 007 that's a female. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it's just, why can't you make your own movies? Like the whole point of 007 is to show peak masculinity. It's for like some young men to look up to and be like, I want to be that guy, this manly guy. So if Hollywood were to make a mass change for Asian people, I think the best case scenario would be to make original ideas. Make original fucking movies like Crazy Rich Asian. Do not tarnish other brands just to like please the modern day people. Like don't fucking replace My Little Mermaid with an Asian girl. Don't fucking do that. The last thing is there aren't really any good Asian role models aside from maybe their own father or actual Asians in their own countries, like that are good role models, like the celebrities or whatever in their own like countries, production studios. Really the only good Asian role model I've ever seen, at least for me, right, is Bruce Lee. So this is something I should have told you earlier, but a lot of the times when I was getting bullied at school for my race and getting racism thrown at me, I would always look at Bruce Lee because he showed Hollywood and all of these producers who was boss, who was capable, and he revolutionized like the fighting in Hollywood or whatever. And with that being said, in a bit, bro.